And joining in studio now is Mr. James Nelson. He is the CEO of Solar3D Incorporated. SLTD is their stock symbol. Jim, always good to see you.
Hi, Don. Good to be back.
Well, Jim, it's an exciting week, I guess, because you announced your commercialization plan this week. Can you share a few details with us?
Sure, yeah. It goes along with the fact that we announced a little while ago about our new proof of concept prototype that we've completed. Exceeded our expectations in producing more power than we expected, and especially in comparison to a basic cell that we fabricated along the same lines. But to take that now and manufacture it and get it out to market requires a lot of work this next year. The prototype that we created was essentially a handmade prototype. Now we've got to prove that we can mass produce it and that it will hold up the characteristics through next year. So we've got to produce a new manufacturing prototype. We've got to get a pilot run going so that we can show that it'll actually do what we say it'll do when it's mass produced. And then we'll identify a manufacturing partner that has experience in manufacturing millions of these things and getting them out to market. And that's the plan.
I know you have a lot of confidence in what you're doing, but the media loves to talk about solar companies that have gone out of business. I mean, what's going on?
Well, a lot of things have gone on. Part of it is just the history of solar has been so dependent upon the subsidies from governments. And they've built businesses based on subsidies and then not necessarily on straight economics, the performance of their units. So the Chinese have come up with solar cells that have really produced, that have really generated more power, been less expensive, and they've been able to really come in and knock our companies for a loop in being more competitive on a global basis. It's been a real problem for some of our companies, and frankly, some of them have found that they can't compete. They can't sell their solar cells for the price that it costs them to produce them.
Does it impact your company at all?
Well, we've always based our philosophy on the fact that things have to change from a standpoint of basic economics. We're looking to approach grid parity so that the cost of producing our solar cells is going to be marginally higher than a basic solar cell, but will produce double the power. So as a result, we're really looking to be more globally competitive. We think that everything is based on global competition, not local. And so ultimately, and in addition, not just competition within the solar business, but also the substitutes, natural gas, coal, and so forth. All of those are lower cost than solar. We're looking to drive the cost of solar down to be equal or make them a legitimate substitute.
Now, when an industry sector matures, it consolidates naturally. Is that what we're seeing here, a maturing sector?
There are two different schools of thought. A lot of people who have been in solar a long time talk in terms of this being a mature company. In fact, last year I went to a conference that was populated with some of solar's old timers, and they talked about how this is a maturing industry, and if government takes away the subsidies, we're going to be in real trouble, and what Stephen Chu talking about when he says to get down to $1 per watt. That was one conference, the mature industry. Another conference that I went to was completely different. They were talking in terms of, look, we are so full of innovators in this industry, and people are innovating to bring the cost down. They saw Chu's challenge of getting down to $1 per watt in the Sunshot Initiative as a real possibility. And so that's what we're hanging our hat on. We don't think this is a mature industry at all. It has every characteristic of an emerging growth industry.
We're just about out of time, but I'm sure you're busy right now preparing to basically put your plan into motion next year.
We are. Right now we're working hard at preparing the next prototype and setting ourselves up for the pilot run that's going to happen. It'll probably take the better part of 2013, but that should lead us right to the place we want to be.
Solar3D, SLTD is their stock symbol. Jim, great update. Always a pleasure.
Good to be with you, Don. Thanks.